Hello, I'm Jocelyn Lear, and today I'll be discussing other health impairments. So, what is other health impairments? It is a disability that includes health issues like ADHD, diabetes, epilepsy, heart conditions, hemophilia, lead poisoning, leukemia, nephritis, rheumatic fever, sickle cell anemia, and Tourette syndrome. And since it's a wide variety of diseases, it can have a wide variety of causes, such as it can be hereditary, it can be from neurological issues, brain damage or trauma, injuries, allergies, con- congenital malformations, and environmental factors. Despite there being a large variety of health issues in this category, it is not very prevalent, being only 1% of the student population. Also, because there is a wide variety of health disorders in this category, I'm just going to list general characteristics that can be found in just about every health issue that was stated. So, some general characteristics are multiple absences, problems with paying attention, distracted, lack of strength, problems with mobility, and fatigue. Those are just characteristics at school or low. Usually, those with low severity, they function normally, like those who don't have any health issues. Like they tend to have normal to high intelligence, and they tend to exhibit normal behavior. Those with high severity conditions, those are the ones where their intellectual abilities can get affected. So those with high severities, they can have learning disabilities, and they can have deficits in comprehension in class. They tend to leave class early and they cannot focus. And since they have severities, they're going to need help. And sometimes technology that can help them facilitate their education is not provided, which can lead to low performances in school. Physical characteristics also vary in how severe a student has it. Like, for example, those with low severity, they can walk and function normally, like those who don't have any health issues. But those with high severity health issues, they can end up in a wheelchair. For example, those with diabetes, I know sometimes when can get severe, um, their legs can get amputated or their limbs, and they can end up in a wheelchair. Or those, so some physical characteristic can be mobility issues, weakness, and it can be seen on a wheelchair or other technologies that can help them function. Okay, so for this last category, I decided to put emotion, behaviors, communication, and social characteristics together just because I feel like they all kind of go hand in hand. So, for example, um, a lot of these students tend to be irritable, angry, and dramatic, such as those students with ADHD. And in turn, that affects their behavior, so they can be very hyperactive and aggressive. So, socially, that can cause isolation for these students, and they can have a few friends because not a lot of students can handle them. And that is mostly due to their communications. They are too aggressive with their communication, sometimes very abrupt, and they can exhibit antisocial behavior sometimes. However, not everyone in this category exhibits these characteristics. It just depends on the severity, like I've mentioned before. ADHD student will be discussed, and this student is a 16-year-old male in 10th grade. That he has combined ADHD type. Therefore, this student exhibits behavior of impulsivity, hyperactive behavior, and distractibility. This has affected many aspects of the student's life. Academically, the student lacks organizational skills, time management skills, and has a hard time paying attention in school. However, the student is very athletic, is artistically creative, and can be very attentive and passionate when it comes down to a topic he likes. This student's emotions and behavior very much affect his communication and social life, both in negative and positive ways. For example, some negative effects are that he can sometimes be very disruptive in the classroom, can be short tempered and aggressive towards those he does not like, and is rebellious towards rules he does not agree with. These deficits also affect his communication with authority, such as defying authority and getting in trouble for it. Despite these deficits, his strengths demonstrate that this child can have positive social and communication interactions. The student is very loyal to his friends, cares about his friends' feelings, and can be very fun can be a very fun time to be with. However, because of the student's disorders, certain services and accommodations must be made. As mentioned earlier, the student has issues paying attention in class and lacks organizational and time skills. This prevents the student from completing his assignments on time and showing up to class on time. In order to help this, the student has been provided the service of a school advisor to mentor him on how to handle these responsibilities. The student also meets with the school counselor frequently to help with his behavior issues in and out of the classroom. Accommodations during standardized testing is also necessary for this study because of his issues with time management. According to STAR testing accommodations, students with ADHD are eligible to have extra time on their standardized testing, and this allows the student to be placed in another classroom and given extra time for his exam. Because of the student's traits, the three evidence-based strategies that I decided to use on him were functional behavioral assessment, self-regulated strategy development, and challenging horizons program. Functional behavioral assessment targets problematic behavior and requires students to get a VIP. The reason I chose this strategy is because it targets behaviors such as distractibility and disruption in the classroom, which are behaviors that my students in the case study tend to exhibit in the classroom. And a way I will assess if he is improving with this functional behavior assessment is I would just keep like a journal and just mark down every time he is disruptive and see if the number decreases as time goes by. So the next strategy that I thought would be helpful for the student is self-regulated strategy development. This improves students' academic skills and helps them get organized and self-regulate, which I think it's a good process for the students in my case study to go through because he has organizational issues and has a hard time keeping track and turning in his work on time. And I feel like this strategy will just help him learn new skills, self-regulate so he can turn in his work on time, but also like improve academically in all subjects. And the way that I would assess this strategy is I will just simply keep track of how many times the student has turned in his assignments on time, because this will show me that the student is able to self-regulate and be more efficient about his schoolwork. And the last strategy I chose was Challenging Horizons program, and this helps students improve academic performance and social skills. And the reason that I chose this strategy is because, as I mentioned before, the students in my case study has organizational issues, but also he has problems with being kind to his peers. So I believe that this will also help him with his academic and behavior issues. And the way that I would assess this strategy is, well, for the academic part, I will just keep track of grades and also how many assignments have been turned in on time. And then for the social aspect of this strategy, I would I would make a chart and just mark down every time the student showed unfavorable behavior. Okay, so now for personal reflection. I don't think I had any preconceived biases about this disability category, but I did learn a lot about it. Like, for example, I didn't realize that a lot of the health issues that were under this disability category were disabilities. Um, I just never really considered how these health issues could hinder someone enough to make it a disability. Also, I learned the importance of collaboration amongst teachers, parents, professionals. Everyone is responsible for students' education, especially during all those meetings, though those ARD meetings, discussing IEPs, those BIPs. Like, it's very important that everyone knows how to collaborate and how to talk to each other because we want the best for the students. And if we don't know how to collaborate, that will really hinder a child's education, and that's the last thing we want to do. So it also taught me the importance of knowing laws and adhering to them. We can know the rights of the child if their rights have been violated. If you feel like they have been misplaced, you can fight for your students' rights. But also, like, if a student of yours has been eligible for special services, you have to know the process, like how to make those students eligible. So the teacher has to know, like, what is an ARD meeting, how to write an IEP, and stuff like that. Like, it's important things for you to know so you can help your child and help them get the best education possible. This project also made me reflect and think about what I would do if I were to have a student with a disability in my classroom. It is more than just identifying that a student has a disability or having them placed in a special education classroom. You have to know um, what strategies would help them best. Overall, this helped me be a better teacher for my future students. The end. Thank you for watching.